What is up? Welcome back to episode 35 of Don't Quote Us Sports. It is Tuesday, December 16th. And Herb, the first question I got to ask. Obviously, we're less than 2 weeks away from Christmas. What's been the go-to Christmas movie of the year for you?
Oh,
You going back to the classics, or did you find something new this year?
there's been a little bit of a debate at work on like what is the Christmas movie? Like, what's your go-to? What's your number one? I haven't watched it yet this year. I have consumed 3 Christmas movies so far. I've watched Elf, I've watched The Grinch, and I've watched National Lampoons. Out of respect, every Christmas Eve, I will sit down and watch The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. That is number one on my list. People think I'm crazy for this take. It's number one. It is everything that a Christmas movie should embody is there. It's all-timer for me. I'm excited in 8 days when I get to sit down with a nice steak on my couch and watch The Santa Claus.
Okay. Yeah, that reminds me. My tradition growing up was Christmas Day. It did not matter about anything. The second, my family would usually show up at like 10, 11 o'clock. And then they would probably be there until 4 or 5. And I forgot what channel it was on. I think it's TBS. It would have A Christmas Story. And it would just play on repeat the entire day. So that would be what was on our TV the entire day. So I just got to see Ralphie and his fucking BB gun 5 times every single Christmas. And
you just kept the loop on. It wasn't like it was just on.
No, it didn't change ever.
Now they came out with A Christmas Story 2. Did you watch that?
Oh, not good. Come on.
That's a shame.
They can never do sequels the right way. There's no reason. And then they do it still.
And why is it always that, like, usually if you get a sequel, more often than not, you're getting a third movie, right? Why are 1 and 3 always solid films, but 2 is always a flop?
Name me a good third movie.
Oh, Harry Potter,
in a series.
Prisoner of Azkaban. No, 3
okay.
is three's Azkaban. The third Lord of the Rings, sensational. The third Santa Claus is actually number 2 in that series. Number 2 falls down to the 3 slot. Star Wars, the original Star Wars.
What?
We're not talking about the new stuff.
Okay, that was curious.
I'm talking 1970s and 80s here, bud.
Because you could be like Toy Story 3, dog shit. You could be like Shrek 3, dog shit.
Terrible.
You could be like...
Hey, Shrek 2, though. Shrek 2 slapped. Shrek 2 did everything it needed to do right.
You can pretty much say every Fast and Furious movie after number 3, dog shit.
No, pause on that. Now, are we talking number 3 as Tokyo Drift? Or are we talking like The Fast and the Furious 3?
The Fast and the Furious 3.
Because I'm a Tokyo Drift fan. That gets a lot of hate in that universe. I'm a huge Tokyo Drift fan.
I'm trying to think of other bad third movies.
I didn't see How to Train Your Dragon 3. I can't imagine that was great, but 1 and 2 were
Godfather Part 3. That was unnecessary. That didn't need to happen. Spider-Man 3. That was unnecessary. That didn't need to happen.
Which one? Are you talking about Toby's?
Yeah.
Yeah, Toby didn't need a third one.
Born Ultimatum.
Truthfully, like, listen, I love the concept. They screwed the first one was so good that you couldn't make another one as good.
Last one. Taken 3. How can you do the same fucking storyline 3 times?
I'm so glad you brought that up because I've got quite the issue.
Like, come on.
Here's an idea, Liam. Stop letting her leave the country. Okay? She's clearly not responsible enough to handle the adversity in the real world. Keep her in suburbia. Keep her in white picket fences. Stop that. But also, who in the hell went to go see Taken 2 to the point where they said, you know what, let's do a third?
Right. What about Rocky 3? Was Rocky 3 necessary?
I don't hate it.
Back to the Future Part 3?
Yeah, was it necessary? No. Was it a bad movie? No.
Men in Black 3?
Hold on. Was that time traveling? Was that Will Smith goes back in time? Is that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't need that. We didn't listen. After you had Biz Markie beatboxing in a post office in the second one, that was the peak of Men in Black. You couldn't get any better than that.
Okay, those were the top ones that I found in my quick Google search. Back to the Christmas movie thing, though, real quick. I have to ask the question because I don't know if we've ever actually talked about it.
Please, I know it's coming. Please, yep, it is. It's 100%
a Christmas movie. Thank you.
Thank you. How can it not be? How?
Literally, how do you set the movie on Christmas Eve, and then people argue it's not a Christmas movie? It was at a Christmas party.
Thank you. These people, these illiterate, uncultured swine that sit here and tell me that Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. The first question I ask is, what kind of party are they at? Christmas party. Therefore, it's a fucking Christmas movie. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
What's their argument, typically? It's just the fact that it's just all about violence and nothing Christmas related outside of the party.
Well, it's a terrorist hostage action movie. So you're telling me fine. Then The Grinch is just a movie about aliens. Actually, The Grinch is about the multiverse. That's all that is. It's not even a Christmas film.
No, I think we're stretching here.
Probably, but nonetheless, Die Hard is 1,000% a Christmas movie. He's wearing a Santa hat at one point in time.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page there.
Let me ask you this last thing. Let me ask you this last thing about Christmas movies. Recently, Christmas movies have kind of sucked. What's a recent one that you go to?
Recent as like one that
like the last
has
10 years
come out that
10, 15
that I liked. There's been some good ones on Netflix. Low key, one that I enjoyed. I don't know how much gets back into the argument of how much of a Christmas movie it is. Violent Night with David Harbour. You remember that one?
Isn't that set on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, I think so. But the other one that I've really enjoyed is The Christmas Chronicles on Netflix with
Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah, with Kurt Russell.
Can't say I've seen that one.
That one's a good one. And then Klaus, also on Netflix. It's an animated one.
I have seen that one. That's a pretty solid one as well. Yeah, have you watched Office Christmas Party with Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, and is it Miles Teller?
Oh yeah. No, you're thinking of the wrong one. You're thinking of The Night Before Christmas.
Yeah, whatever one has Seth Rogen and Anthony Mackie in it.
Yeah, it's the night before Christmas, and he wears the Jewish sweater.
Yeah, to Christmas Eve in the chapel while on mushrooms. The night before.
Yeah, with Gordon Levitt.
That's the one. That's a great one.
That's a good one. I agree with you.
I dig on that one. All right, let's talk sports.
But Herb, one thing I wanted to do, or try out, at the beginning of our episodes is just let's reminisce a little bit. And the way I'm basing this off of is just taking the episode number that we're on. So like today, for example, it's episode 35. Let's just talk about some dudes that wore number 35 real quick. How's that sound?
Just a couple buddies just throwing out random athlete names. I love this.
I wouldn't say they're super random. These are probably the best 35s to ever wear the number. But we can get into some obscure athletes to wear number 35 as well. But the ones that I had jotted down, obviously, first one that comes to mind, Kevin Durant.
Ooh.
8-time, all-time in scoring. I know he wears number 7 now. Kind of cheating a little bit. You got Ricky Henderson, rest in peace. One of the most underrated baseball players of all time. Yogi Berra. I didn't know wore number 35, 10-time World Series champ.
Okay.
You'll like this one. Frank Thomas, Frank the Tank.
Oh, the Big Hurt.
The Big Hurt. And then one that's near and dear to my heart, Justin Verlander.
Sure.
I know his career is coming to an end here shortly. Might be one of the last great pitchers that we see.
I'm trying to think of like
I say that. Sorry, I was gonna say I say that in the terms of just like lifetime stats. I don't think we'll see any pitchers in the modern era approach what Justin Verlander has accomplished.
No. When I think of 35, though, this is going to be a name from the bag. Because I'm just thinking about like my childhood and growing up watching baseball, like who was wearing 35? Mike Mussina from the Yankees. You remember Moose?
Oh, yeah.
He was a part of that Roger Clemens, Andy Pettit rotation. And when the Moose got loose, he was a hell of a baseball player. I'm trying to think of a Cub that wore 35. Sandberg wore 35 before going to 23.
You want me to just start throwing out some random names now? I got like a full encompassing list.
Oh, hit me.
Just kidding. These might just be basketball players.
That's fine.
Adam Morrison. Come on.
Ooh.
Jason Collins, only gay player to ever play in the NBA.
Oh, openly gay. Openly gay.
Kenneth Faried.
Oh, the manimal.
Chris Kaman. Chris Kaman. Oh, remember this guy? Dragan Bender, former number 4 overall pick of the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, yeah. Like a Slovakian kid or something like that, right? Croatian or something.
Yeah, something like Isaac Okoro, Robert Williams. Those are some basketball players.
Hey, Chris Kaman, talk about a guy that was he looked like he shouldn't be there. And hey, Chris Kaman was playing Joker ball before Joker was even thinking about basketball.
True.
Call a dude pot roast the way he played, low and slow.
Earl Campbell wore 35. That's a baller. But that was only with the Saints. He was better known for 34 with the Titans. Or with the Oilers.
That's a bag pull. That's a bag pull. That's a nice little tidbit you pulled there, bud. 35. I'm trying to think of.
I think he died recently too. I'm pretty sure Justin Morneau wore 35 too for the Twins when he won MVP. It might have been. He
wasn't 33.
Shoot.
I thought it was 33.
Oh, he might have been 33. It was 33. God, I'm a terrible fan. Yeah, it was 33.
Get you some fan.
Terrible fan. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I know. It's awful. God, I'm the worst.
I like that. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
bring a couple of surprise picks for you for next episode. I'm gonna find a couple 36s to blow your
Number
socks off.
36. Yeah, let's not. Everybody know the bus. Let's get some names in here. I want
I'm
more
going deep.
obscure, the better.
Going real deep. I got a name in mind. Hold on.
But
Let me see if he is. Nope. I fucked up. It's not who I thought it was. Oh, what a shame. All right, I'll have some in the bag for you next episode.
thanks, I appreciate that. I guess I can go a little bit deeper. Tony Esposito, your guy.
Sure.
Come on, come on. Um, Mike Musina. Oh, you want a random one? Tommy John,
Like
that
like
bastard.
elbow Tommy John, huh?
Yeah, Tommy John.
35. Yeah, I tell you
Yep.
what, that's a name nobody wants to remember, huh?
I would say so. Ooh. I don't.
Ooh.
I didn't think this was true. The name that popped up, I need to verify, but this will bring back some memories. I feel like he did wear it later in his career.
Hold on, can I
Hideki
guess?
Matsui wore number 35. Nope, too late.
Yes.
Number
Hideki.
35 in 2012 with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, that's that. Listen, that was post Yankee because he wore. Hold on. Oh, Hideki wore. Was it in the 20s with the Yankees?
No, 55.
55. I was going to 22, but that was Jorge. That was Posada.
Oh, another one. Okay, last one because I'm just getting off track now. Got to shout out the best U.S. goalie to ever play, Mr.
Quick.
Mike Richter. Can't forget
Richter.
him.
Wow.
Richter. Okay,
All right.
one last final one, just because I think he's funny.
We're gonna be here all night.
You remember the name Dontre Willis?
Dontrell Willis, the big lefty with the kick, he did wear 35, didn't he?
With their ginormous kick that got up to his goddamn forehead.
Dude, he had one of the nastiest sliders I think the MLB's ever seen. And it's because it was coming from such a weird angle that it was just the naughtiest little backdoor slider you could ever imagine.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Those are some players that wore number 35 at least once in their career. But now we can get into what just occurred in the NFL yesterday, because we had a lot of very close games, a lot of games that were very impactful in terms of the playoff picture, and it leaves me very excited for these last 3 weeks. So, I'll run through the games real quick, just as a recap. Falcons over the Buccaneers, 29-28. Bears beat the Browns 31-3. Ravens blank the Bengals 24-0. Chargers hold off the Chiefs 16-13. Chiefs playoff streak is officially dead. Bills come back from 21-0. We'll talk about this one more in a second. 35-31 over the Patriots. Commanders take out the Giants in the game nobody watched, 29-21. Eagles bounce back 31-0 over the Raiders. Jaguars, offensive fireworks, 48-20 over Brady Cook and the New York Jets. Texans, I'm telling you, watch out for the Texans. Win another one, 6 in a row, 40-20 over the Cardinals. Broncos beat the Packers 34-26. Bigger news coming out of this game. Micah Parsons, done. We'll see you next year, champ. Rams, Lions, most exciting game of the weekend. 41, Rams, Lions, 34. Saints come back and beat the Panthers once again, 2017. 49ers take out the Titans 37-24. Seahawks pull out in one of the most devastating wins because I really wanted Phillip Rivers to win this game. Hold on, late comeback, win 18-16 over the Colts. And then watch how J.J. McCarthy is looking like an NFL quarterback.
Oh boy, here we
Vikings
go.
kill the Cowboys season, win 34-26. So updated standings, Herb. We had some movement around. And this is all pending the Dolphins and Steelers game tonight. But Broncos clinched a playoff berth. They're number 1. Patriots number 2. Jaguars number 3. Steelers number 4. In the wild card, we have Chargers, Bills, Texans, Colts, Ravens, and Dolphins on the outside looking in. And then over in the NFC, we got the Rams who clinched a playoff berth. Then the Bears, Eagles, Bucks, and in the wild card, we got the Seahawks, 49ers, Packers, and on the outside looking in, we got the Lions, Panthers, and Cowboys, whose season is on life support. But before we jump into like any of these games, or remember last year the talk that everybody had about the NFC North, just with like how good it was. We had 2 teams that won 14 games, you know, and then you had the Packers that won, what was it, 10 or something. I think the NFC West this year might be better than the NFC North last year was.
In terms of how tight it is or how competitive it is across the board?
I think of just across the board, like if we put these 3 teams up against the Vikings, Bears, or Vikings, Lions, and Packers from last year, I think I would pick these teams in the NFC West this season.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of them have double-digit
All I
wins
know is
already.
whoever is going to have to play literally 2 of these teams are going to have to go on the road in the wild card game, and whoever has those, it's going to be the Bucks or the Panthers, and then probably the Eagles. They are not going to be happy with whoever they draw in that matchup.
No, not even a little bit, especially being a West Coast team. I mean, I don't know that these Rams are built to play in a place like Lincoln Financial in December and January. So home field, that means winning that division is all the more important. Like even to be considered for home field.
No, I think of the teams. I think of the teams that could go play on the East Coast and succeed. It would be the Rams because they're starting to get their rushing attack all figured out. They've had back-to-back games with 3+ rushing touchdowns now. Corum's getting involved. They're not wearing out Kyron, so he's going to be fresh come playoff time. And then you still have a savvy vet in the back in Matthew Stafford that can still win you games. I think of the 3 teams, that would be the team that could go on the road and win games if needed.
See, I think, and I might be way off base on this, but Stafford, if I recall, struggles in cold games. I mean, just hasn't had to play in a lot of them in his career. Not at least a stupid amount. It's not like every home game for him is a cold game. I don't know. I worry about the weather, to be honest with you. But you are correct. The Rams rushing attack, so I could see that going well. But Seattle's had a pretty formidable rushing attack, and I'm not talking 250 yards a game, but they've got a 2-headed monster back there. When one is struggling, the other one can go. So then it makes me lean towards Seattle's run ability and a more balanced offense to this point in the season. But like you said, the Rams are figuring out the run.
But then the other division race that I'm most interested in, that I'm going to be following, is the AFC East. The Patriots and Bills, they split the head-to-head with both teams winning on the road. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into this game specifically because It felt like New England was up 21 nothing in a blink of an eye, and it felt like the game was over before halftime, and it just completely flipped on its head in the second half, and I don't know how like what to believe, you know? Cuz
Where's your head go right away?
I feel like I feel like the Patriots are a better team, but it almost feels like they're too young still. Like they haven't been in these positions to like win these games yet, you know?
Yeah, I think that's what happened. The Patriots know how to put the ball in the end zone. They showed that in the first quarter, first half. So I think they did come out swinging. But what the Bills showed us is that this is still a playoff ready team. Despite the lulls this year, which I don't think they were very valid. I mean, they're still the Bills. It's still Josh Allen and James Cook. I think the Bills showed that, like, hey, we know what it takes to win games late in the year. We know what it takes to win games in the playoffs. Hey, Drake May, why don't you take this clipboard, take some notes, and watch Josh go out there and show you how this is done? And that's what happened. Because the second half, the Bills were in complete control. As soon as they started rolling, you could see the experience of that offense just kind of cruising. They knew exactly what they had to do. They knew they had to chip away at it, and they did. And I think, again, that is just young leadership on the Patriots side. They'll get it figured out. They got a taste of it now.
But on the flip side, right? This is Buffalo's third win this season when trailing by double digits at some point. And their defense has been, let's be honest, bad. I don't think it's been good in any like I don't think there's any way you could spin that their defense has played well this season. Um, but it just feels like they find themselves when they play like good teams, they find themselves in these shootouts, right? And to expect Josh Allen to be able to come back and win you those type of games repeatedly, I feel like you're just waiting for the rug to be pulled from under you.
Yeah, but I mean, that's unfortunately some of these teams have found success in that. You look at the Chiefs. That's all the Chiefs have been is Patty Mahomes going out there and carrying the squad, and I think the Bills kind of see it that way.
I don't
They're
agree with you there. I think the Chiefs, the Super Bowl winning Chiefs of the past couple of years, their defense has played much, much, much better than everybody gives them credit for. Because I bet if you go and pull back uh, their stats from those seasons, they probably finished top 15 in defense each of those years.
Sure, I don't doubt that those defenses along the way for that run were by and large better than this Buffalo defense for sure. I just think there's a faith in some of these mega quarterbacks now that it doesn't matter how much time's on the clock. If you've got Patty, if you have Josh, if you have Joe Burrow, like if you have these guys, there's kind of this false sense of security in the back of your head that, like, yeah, we can be down five with 40 seconds left and we're going to be fine because we've got this guy at quarterback. Trot him out there and let him spin.
Yeah, but the thing is, how often are they finding themselves down only five? They have to fight tooth and
Fair.
nail just to get to within five, you know? And I did just go look. The 3 years Chiefs won the Super Bowl, number 2, number 7, and number 16 rated defense.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I mean, that's the path to
Buff-
Lombardi Trophy right there.
Buffalo this year has the 17th.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like the 17th best defense. You've got concern with this defense more often than not. I think while
Primarily
they
their
have to,
rushing attack. Their rushing defense is atrocious.
for sure, and Ed Oliver's still out, so I think that's playing a piece, right?
I mean, sure, but can you really expect one guy to come in and completely change the dynamic? He hasn't been injured the entire season, and their run defense has been a problem the entire season.
Yeah, he only played what 3-4 games or something like that, if that. I think this speaks to two problems that the Bills have. One is their defense that needs to be addressed. Obviously, it can't be addressed this year. Next year in the draft and free agency, it needs to be addressed in a big way. Um, I think this also speaks to, like you said, the Bills get behind kind of early, and I don't understand what takes this offense a quarter to warm up. In this game, it was a damn half. That's not a playoff winning formula. Like, you're not going to go play some of these other teams in the AFC come playoff time and be able to go down for a whole quarter. 2 scores, 10 points. It's not going to work for you. So, like, if I'm sitting there and I'm the coaching staff in Buffalo, that is the number one thing we were talking about today was how do we start faster? So, I mean, I think if they really want to set the tone next game, they have to do everything they can to score on the opening drive and kind of announce their presence with authority.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too, because if we look at the playoff picture in the AFC, right? So let's say Buffalo is a wild card team, right? They will have to travel to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, or Jacksonville slash Houston, most likely, would be the two teams. But I guess the point I'm trying to say is if they are forced to go on the road, even if they're forced to play at home, right? The type of offense that Buffalo runs is, I would say, extremely reliant on their passing attack. Maybe not so much as in previous years, right? Because they have James Cook. But in those situations, right, where they find themselves down by multiple scores, they're not going to be able to rely on that rushing attack as frequently. And it's definitely not going to be as easy to pass the ball when it's 20 or less degrees outside, potentially snow on the ground or just crummy weather, that makes passing the ball that much harder. So it works. It has worked so far this year, somehow, some way. But to expect it to continue to happen, I just don't feel good about it.
Yeah, and you and I have both had hesitations on the Bills so far. I don't think either one of us has been impressed as we were week one with that win over the Ravens. And then kind of what we thought this Bills team could or should be. So I get the reservation. I have some of that in the back of my head of like, God, you said, I think, at the beginning of the year, like, this is the year they have to win it. I don't feel as confident in week 15 as I did when we were saying that. I don't know where you're at with it.
I'm just looking at the teams right now in the AFC, and the one thing that the Bills will have over pretty much every single one of these teams that make it is the playoff experience. Like the rest of these teams are young. You got CJ Stroud, it would be his second playoff game. Justin Herbert, he struggled mightily in the playoffs in the past. I don't think he's maybe won one playoff game in his career.
If
You got
that.
Pittsburgh. I'm not scared of Pittsburgh. I'm not scared of Pittsburgh. I don't care. New England. This will be Drake May's first playoff. Denver Broncos. This will be Bo Nix's second playoff. Like these are inexperienced quarterbacks that you're asking a lot out of them, to carry their team, not carry their teams, but lead their teams to a Super Bowl. So it almost feels like my default, regardless of where Buffalo ends up, I still feel confident in Buffalo because they've been there and they've done that, you know?
Yeah, being on the road in the AFC playoffs got a lot less scary after yesterday, knowing that Arrowhead and Pat Mahomes are out of the mix. So I guess I hadn't really looked at the
Yeah, it's like
experience of like what's down the
it's
line.
it's like their house of terrors. It's like their house of terrors is no longer in play.
But do you think they get comfortable then? Like, oh yeah, we got this.
No, if anything, I feel like they press because they're like Kansas City's not in it. So I think they almost are thinking like if we can't win it, if we don't win it this year, shoot, we may never win it because to think that Kansas City is going to not be a perennial playoff team while Patrick Mahomes is suiting up there is fool's gold.
Yeah, they're always going to be a threat until his last day. Yeah, no, there's just a little lingering of concern with these Bills. I don't know, man. It became apparent again that like they need a true number one receiver. That jumped off the page at me this weekend. And I like Shakir. I like Shakir a lot. He's just not a number one. He's a real crafty guy, but he's just not a number one receiver.
No, we've been saying that up and down all season, begging them to do something. But they're gonna really, I think they're gonna have to rely on the health of Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox come playoff time because I think they will be a big factor. A lot of tight end sets, a lot of 12 personnel.
It won't surprise me one bit. It won't surprise me one bit when those two tight ends, let's say they make it to the playoffs. Those are the number one and number two in receptions and yardage through the playoffs for the Bills. Won't shock me.
On the flip side, the one thing I wanted to point out here is I think Trey Henderson has officially arrived. If he has not been, like, if we weren't there before, I think we are definitely there now. Reason I say that, went off for 14 carries, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. Those 2 touchdowns were 52 and 65 yards. And Urban, I don't know if you realize this, that means he now has 4 touchdowns of 50-plus yards, tying the rookie record in NFL history with a guy that goes by the name of, what was it? Barkley? Saquon, I think? Yeah, guy turned out
I've heard of him.
Good, if you ask me. Yeah. So, if I continue seeing Ramondre Stevenson on my fucking TV screen on a Sunday afternoon, I'm gonna lose my shit because there is a canyon discrepancy between these two players. Like, they are so far apart in level of talent. I don't even know how Ramondre sniffs Henderson's jockstrap.
Do you want to know what it is? And I surmised this weeks ago. Here's what it is. Mike Vrabel.
Blackmail. Ramondre knows something that he's not supposed to know.
You think that's it? We're going tinfoil hats on, huh?
Well, when you have a dude that is averaging 3.5 yards a carry and let me go look at his. Okay, he's a better receiver, but 3.5 yards rushing is dog water. He has 2 big plays. You know what a big play is? It's a 20-plus rushing play. He has 2.
Here's what it is.
And he fumbles.
Okay. Here's what it is. Mike Vrabel, his offensive mindset has always been and probably will always be predicated on a hard-nosed power back, right? When listen, all Vrabel's known for his running back is Derrick Henry. So he's trying to not necessarily emulate the man, but emulate the scheme, right? And Ramondre does that for you more so than Henderson. Henderson's better. Henderson should be the starter at this point. That I truly believe that idea is what is holding Vrabel back from just saying, hey, Hendo, it's yours, 70-30. Ramondre's only coming in to spell you.
Yeah, it's different if he actually produced average numbers. He's a net negative out there.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying I think that's where it comes from. I don't think Ramondre is it anymore as a number one. Do I think Ramondre can be a very, very solid number 2 change of pace running back? Yeah. There's this place for Ramondre on the Patriots. It's just not in the RB1 role.
Yeah, and the role is a LeGarrette Blount type, where you bring him in for short yardage and goal line. I should not see his ass on the field otherwise. I'm sorry.
I like Henderson.
Dude,
I think
PFF has him as the 51st rated running back. You want to guess out of how many?
53.
Yeah. How'd you know? What the fuck?
That was a total guess. Is that for real?
What? Yes. What the fuck? How'd you do that?
I'm good like that, baby.
Yes,
locked in. I opened up my third eye before I got here tonight.
That was weird. I didn't like that.
I'm always watching Wazowski. Always watching.
I guess so. Yeah, he's last in yards per attempt.
Yeah, no, it's. I'm done. Listen, I have Ramondre in a fantasy league, and I lost in the first round of playoffs in that league, so I no longer have to be like, yeah, Ramondre. No, it's Henderson's job. Give it to him.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I had to point out there. God, it's just so frustrating. And especially for me, I was a Henderson fantasy owner all year. He's the reason I missed the playoffs pretty much, because I drafted him in the 4th round, expecting the world out of him. And then he doesn't start fucking producing until it's already too late. I'm already underwater here, bud. I needed these wins weeks ago.
Did you write an email to Vrabel or what?
Golly. No. I just tried bitching and moaning to anybody that would listen to me. Dude, let me tell you the first 4 rounds of this draft of the league that I care most about, and tell me, I don't think I could have had worse luck. And I thought I was being so smart. I was being so sneaky. Malik Neighbors, round 1. That lasted 4 weeks. Brock Bowers, round 2. Didn't think Geno Smith was going to implode and the Raiders were going to have one of the worst offenses in the league, and he was going to get injured and miss half the year. Lamar Jackson. Don't even get me started on that fucking bozo. 2-time MVP my ass. Okay?
Oh,
fuck
come
you.
Come on.
And then Trayvon Henderson. Trayvon Henderson. Fucking buddy didn't even get 50% of the snaps until Stevenson got injured week 6 or some shit like that. I was already fucking 2-4 at that point, buddy. Like, come on.
Listen, for those of you listening at home, do me a favor. Call your best friend, see how he did in the first round of the playoffs, and make sure he's all right, okay? Because this is what happens when you don't check on your friends right here.
Dude, this wasn't even playoffs. This was beginning of the season. I was on the fucking ledge week 4. I was ready to jump.
Straight up not having a good time.
I couldn't fucking sniff a win. I was scoring 130 points plus still because I'm a waiver wire champ, and I was still fucking losing. Oh. I couldn't fucking do anything right. What?
The waiver wire champion.
What?
Brother, I'm a waiver wire.
I picked up Drake Maye.
That is a hell of a pickup.
I picked up Drake Maye. I picked up Alec Pierce. I picked up Woody Marks. Come on, these are some good names.
Yeah, no, I'll give you credit there. I don't need to know that we need to be self-proclaiming it.
I'm just saying, I didn't deserve the result of my season, and I'll stand by that shit. I'll stand on that.
I had to put out a little release to the league group chat about the shortcomings of the backfield penetrators here, and how once again we've fallen short, and it's no longer acceptable by organization standards. So we're going to lock in the next season.
Yeah, you want to touch base on why you main factor of why you lost that game this weekend?
Oh, yeah, we can. I'm glad you're keeping
parlay into our next segment.
So listen,
We can parlay that into our next segment here.
I got you. All year long, I've battled. There have been ups, there have been downs. The highs were high and the lows were low. And a few weeks ago, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, a bright, shiny new quarterback popped up on the waiver wire, and that's Joe Burrow, Isaiah. And so I picked Joe Burrow up, full well knowing I got Bo Nix with me. Bo got me here. Bo got me to the first round of the playoffs. So you know what I decided to do for the opening round of the damn playoffs? I got greedy, Isaiah. And when you get greedy, you get caught. I put Joe Burrow in, and I sat Bo Nix, and I lost by 7. And the point disparity was about a 30-point differential. And I'd be in the second round of the playoffs if I just stuck with what was tried and true and what got you there. That's a life lesson. Don't give up on what got you there just because some new plaything came along. Heartbreaker.
Yeah. Yeah. That one hurts. Yeah.
And what it all came down to, I was up like
was bound for one of these games soon.
I know it too, and I even thought about that. But what got me was going into the Sunday night football game, I was up 2.5 points, and he had Will Riker to go. And the Vikings couldn't sniff the positive side of the field for the first quarter. I was excited. Got a text in the group saying, we don't have to worry, this game's over. Vikings can't even get close. Well, that was wrong. Ended up getting my butt whooped.
We scored on our second drive. What the fuck are you talking about?
I thought it was around the end of the first quarter. He texted and was just like, they can't even sniff the end zone.
We scored on our second drive. Let's calm down.
Listen,
we were an offensive juggernaut last night.
Oh God, I would hesitate to call.
He's an idiot.
The crazy thing is, he's a Vikings fan.
Yeah, call him an idiot.
Yeah, I'll be sure to pass that sentiment along. I remember texting early. He's like, "I'm cooked," and I was like, "You're not cooked. You're going to be fine."
The Vikings have turned a corner. Offensive juggernaut now.
I am not going to sit here and allow you to use the words Viking and offensive juggernaut in the same sentence right now. 1 week does not exclude how this has gone. Not 2 weeks ago. You were no. Not 2 weeks ago. You were
how many points did we score last week? How many points did we score last week? 31? How many points we scored this week? 34? Herb, where the fuck would that put you in the grand scheme on this season? That's a top 5 offense right there. Yeah, obviously the earlier season results weren't great, but it's about what we're doing now. I'm talking about, I don't live in the past like you do. My bad, okay?
I have an eye on the kid.
I have an eye on the future.
Shoes a week ago.
I have an eye on the future. Golly.
You were talking about we might be burning the jersey.
We still might be, but not now.
No. You're not an offensive juggernaut. Not yet.
As of the last 2 weeks, we are an offensive juggernaut until otherwise. And it's going to continue because you know who we played this weekend? The New York Giants. We're about to score another 30. And then you're going to be like, maybe there is something. That's going to be awkward for you. That's going to be awkward for you.
We're sitting here next week and they get shut out. And I can where was the juggernaut then?
Brother, we both know that's not happening against the New York Giants.
The thing is, neither of us do know because we don't know which J.J. McCarthy or number 9 or whoever the hell he is going to show up.
I'm basing it off the one that we've seen the last 2 weeks.
That's ambitious, just because if history tells us anything, he's good for a flash in the pan, and then it's going to get ugly again.
No, he's officially been good for 2 games out of 8. Yeah.
Juggernaut.
Yeah. Hey, over the course of the last 2 weeks, though, he's 3 touchdowns to 1 pick, or 6
Yeah, no,
touchdowns to 1 pick.
that is
Come on,
improvement. I told you 2 weeks ago I
come
wasn't
on.
ready to give up on the kid myself. I told you that, and I knew there was something there. I'm not saying the Vikings are back. I'm not saying JJ's the guy. There's flashes of it. We enjoy seeing it. They are far from a juggernaut at this point.
All I know is I'm taking him over Cam Ward every day of the week.
I don't know. Cam Ward made some plays on Sunday.
Cam Ward is bad. Let's put it this way. Let's frame it this way, or think big picture here with me, huh? Minnesota, Tennessee. Of these 2 teams, which one is there talks of potentially drafting a quarterback in the first round? Because they're not
We're not.
sold on their quarterback.
There are no
I've
legitimate
heard
rumor. There's
I've
no legitimate rumor.
I've heard the rumors.
It couldn't be further from what's actually happening in Nashville.
I don't know about that.
And don't act like there haven't been talks of who are the Vikings drafting next year at a quarterback, or what are we going to do at quarterback next year?
They're not going to draft anybody. They're going, if anything, they're trading for Joe Burrow, but that's a whole different conversation that you're not ready to have.
No, I'm not. I might need a week to sit here and think about the legitimacy of that.
I'm just saying, Joe Burrow's not having fun. You know where quarterbacks typically have fun?
Los Angeles.
Up in the Great White North with his old buddy Justin Jefferson and Kevin O'Connell whispering in his ear. Doesn't have to listen to that dumbass Zach Taylor week in and week out.
So you'd ask him to give up on Lamar for JJ. You're making him choose between the kids.
Huh?
Is that what you're doing? Between Jamar and JJ?
I thought you said Lamar.
No, Jamar Chase. He wears number 1 for the Bengals. He's pretty good. You should look him up.
Yeah, he already did his job with Jamar. He got him paid. He doesn't owe him shit.
Oh, so now he needs to come to Minnesota so JJ can get paid again in a couple years?
No, now it's just about having fun. He's going to get back to a Super Bowl. Better chance of doing it in the NFC compared to the AFC in the next decade.
Yeah, probably. Joe Burrow is not going to Minnesota.
That's what they all say. Wouldn't be the first time Minnesota pulls off a blockbuster this year. Now it's sneaky. Okay, wrap up on fantasy or NFL. Maybe there's two things still I wanted to go over. Remember a couple weeks ago, and we were talking, and I asked the question: is Jacksonville good? I'm going to ask the question again. Is Jacksonville good? Are they going to win a playoff game?
It hurts me to say, but that is probably true. I don't want to root for Liam Cohen. I haven't rooted for Liam Cohen. I think Liam Cohen is now owed a little bit of credit for what's happened down there. But yeah, they look like a good football team. I don't know if I can name one guy on their defense outside of Josh Allen. But yeah, I think that this is they're solid. They're solid, and they're great at what they do. They don't try to go out and be something else. And I think that was a part of bringing Cohen in, was to get Trevor Lawrence into a lane and say, this is who you are as a quarterback, this is who you're going to be as a quarterback, and we're going to make you great at being this quarterback. We don't need you being all these other things for us. So I will put them in the good category right now.
And this is not like a recency bias. We're not seeing like some type of mirage because they walloped on the hopeless New York Jets, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, it's the fact that every time we bring up the playoffs, Jacksonville's just kind of hanging around there. They haven't fallen off. They haven't taken off, but they haven't fallen off. They're just sitting there consistent. Kind of, it feels like they're kind of waiting for their spot to pounce. You know what I mean? Jaguars, that actually works. Hell yeah.
Like, we're not going to talk about how when they played the Seahawks and Rams, they lost both of those games and not particularly close against the Rams.
What's the most recent game they've played against one of those, though? Rams were week. God, they were mid season, right?
Yeah, both of them were back to back.
Yeah, you forget that they had gone away from ETN and they had Tank at one point. ETN exploded.
No,
and
Tank. They did not. Tank got traded after week 1.
Was it that early?
Yeah.
I thought it was like week 4 or 5. But either way, Booten, they were high on Booten, which I couldn't understand. But ETN, they've gotten going, and I think there's been some faith restored in that offense. Like, hey, ETN can be the guy. Let's help him. Let's do everything we can. But like this can be the guy. I don't think there was that faith necessarily to start the year.
Like, we're not going to talk about how the Jaguars' best win was at home against the Chargers, and then their next best win was at home against the Texans. I guess they beat the 49ers, but that was week 4 when everybody was injured. Mac Jones was playing.
Sure.
So
no,
I
think
don't know if I'm buying stock there.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're winning the whole kit and caboodle. I'm saying they're a good team right now. They are playing good football. They are doing the right things to pull off wins. Lost at Houston.
Next week when they go. Let's see what happens next week when they have to go to Denver to take on the Broncos. That's a good measuring stick game.
Yeah. I mean, they go at Denver, at Indy versus Tennessee. You'll know what you're going to get out of the or in the playoffs out of the Jaguars after next week.
But do have to shout out the Jaguars. This was only the second time in the last 18 years in which they have eclipsed double-digit wins in a season, which seems ridiculous, but knowing what we know about the Jaguars, it is very relevant. It also just reminds me how they were robbed in 2017. They should have won the Super Bowl over the Patriots.
It was Trevor Lawrence the quarter. No, what was he the quarterback at that time?
No, it was Blakey Bortles.
Oh yeah, good old Blake.
With those nasty ass like two-toned helmets.
Oh, with the black, gold, and teal. That was
black
bad era.
And mustard on the back.
Ugh, bad era.
And then another thing, because I saw this before we started recording. The games. So Netflix obviously has a couple games this season, right? And they played a ton of money for the rights to air these 3 or 4 games, right? Earlier season game, doesn't really matter. The next 2 are on Christmas Day, and they were probably hoping so much at the beginning of the season based off the hype of these teams. Now they are stuck with essentially 2 meaningless games between the Dallas Cowboys and Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, but those games will still be well watched. I think that how cool would it have been to have like a Bills-Broncos game on that day? Sure. But like, 1, it's Christmas, so everybody's going to watch. But 2, those are going to be 2 even games. You know, they should be fairly competitive.
Yeah, but they're not relevant, is what I'm trying to say. There's just no relevancy of them. They'll be watched, yeah, obviously, but they're not relevant compared to. Imagine if that New England Buffalo game was the one that happened on Thursday.
Yeah. Really, the only implication that I can see is that the Lions are still in the playoff hunt. That's really the only postseason storyline out of that whole thing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not great for the marketability, I suppose.
Yeah, so for those two games, I don't know the definitive numbers of them, but they essentially paid $75 million for each of those games, the right to air those games. Now, now re-answer that question and tell me if you think Netflix is happy with how that one turned out.
Yeah, no, that's a price tag. Holy Nikes.
Yeah.
Wow. What'd you get for Christmas? I ended up paying $150 million to have football on Netflix. Huh. All right.
Correct.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Can I say this about NFL real quick? What a treat it was as an NFL fan, like watching these playoff implication games late in the year football and how competitive these games were. It's giving me a lot of hope for what we're going to see in the playoffs. That this playoffs has the potential to provide some of the best games we've ever seen in the playoffs. So this, I think, was foreshadowing, and I'm really, really, really excited about these playoffs and the games we're going to get. I think we're going to see some crazy upsets in these playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think this is one of the most wide open NFL seasons we've seen in a good minute. But to wrap up with the NFL, or obviously week one of the fantasy football playoffs, or was it week two? It might be week two for some people. Um, so obviously we just need to recap some of the fantasy studs, fantasy duds, some players that might have won you the week, and some players that definitely probably lost you the week. Um, Maybe to pour salt on the wound or one last victory lap for some of you guys out there. But we'll start with Kyle Pitts on Thursday night. Fifth most points from a tight end since 1960. Went off for 45.6 PPR points. Beautiful. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 13
Stud.
catches, 164 yards, 2 tutties, 41.4 PPR. Trey McBride keeps chugging along. 12 catches, 134, 2 tutties, 37.4 PPR. Travis Etienne had the funniest game ever. 12 rushes for 32 yards, and then 3 catches, 73 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So he
Yep.
ended up with 31.5 PPR points with that one. James Cook continued scoring touchdowns. Ended up with 31.5. Dallas Goddard, again, uh, 25 PPR. Colby Parkinson, if you needed to stream a tight end, he went out there and got you 24.5 PPR. I don't know how many people actually started him. But then on the flip side, obviously you got Joe Burrow, like you said, ended up with 5.5 PPR. Judkins, dud, 4.7 PPR. Lad McConkey disappeared, 4 points. Jameer Gibbs, very sad, doesn't find the end zone. Funny enough, talking about Jameer Gibbs, so he scored 9.8 PPR points, but going back his last like 6 games or something, starting from Sunday, where he scored no touchdowns, the previous week was 3 touchdowns, then zero, then three, then zero, then three. So we can only imagine if you did somehow win your fantasy football playoff game with Jameer Gibbs putting up 10 points, you are probably in for a 40 bomb next week. So fingers crossed for you. Mark Andrews, 3.8. And then Lamar Jackson, that bum, 14.6. Just had to throw that one out there. Bum.
Hey, real quick, of the duds, who do you think's destined to downslide here? Like this was the starting point of, oh, there goes the season for him in terms of fantasy.
Um, Probably Judkins. I don't really care about the Cleveland offense.
I'm worried about
I
McConkey.
don't know what's going on. Yeah. Don't really know what's going on with Herbert and his broken hand. He's out there throwing fucking stiff arms with it and stuff. I don't know.
I'm worried about Lad McConkey in a big way. Feels like there's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense all of a sudden. Feels like he's getting lost in the mix, and maybe whereas he felt like a priority in terms of getting him the ball, that maybe that's not the case so much anymore.
Yeah, I could see the argument. That's for sure.
Especially with Omari and Hampton coming back around.
Um, okay, Herb. Let's flip over to college football, where obviously the big news there is Fernando Mendoza wins the 2025 Heisman, becomes the first player from Indiana to win the award since its inception in 1934. It wasn't particularly close. He had 2,300 votes compared to Pavia, who got second, who had about 1,400. So pretty wide gap there. But season stats to reiterate on the year: 71.5 completion percentage, less than 3,000 yards passing, 39 total TDs, and 6 interceptions. And or just for a little thought exercise for you, I just wanted to read you off this Ian Book's 2019 season with Notre Dame real fast, if I could. Um, that year, he threw for 3,000 yards, had 38 touchdowns,
Yeah,
six
we've
picks.
we've talked about
He
that.
wasn't even a
You know,
Heisman
where
finalist that year.
this was a lackluster Heisman. I'm not saying Mendoza didn't deserve it because he did, right? 643 voters thought so. So I can't argue against that. What I can argue is this is one of the least impressive seasons in terms of personal statistics for the Heisman Trophy winner. That comes with a call for concern from guys like us. Was he the most electric? Was he the best player in college football? I don't necessarily seem to think so, but quite a few people did.
Yeah, he was the first Heisman winner since Cam Newton to throw less than 3,000 yards and win the Heisman. But in case you forgot, Cam Newton also
Yeah,
ran for 1,500 yards and another 20 touchdowns.
yeah, and
So that kind of
Skip
offsets that a
Bayless
little
kind of
bit.
shit on Mendoza about how he didn't deserve to win the Heisman. I don't think that's true. I think he was the best player in college football this year in different ways. So I'm not upset about him winning it. Again, I was Pavia in reality, but Mendoza or Rodriguez in hope. Uh, the fact that the fact that Rodriguez was getting first place votes tells you a whole lot about this Heisman class.
Yeah, this seems like the first winner in a minute where you sit back and you think about like his season in its entirety, and I can't think of one like moment, like that Heisman moment for Mendoza. It's probably that touchdown pass against Penn State to avoid the upset, but I would argue
Yeah,
that
and
was
you're
more
against
the
at the
receivers
time
doing than
3-6
his
Penn
on that
State.
pass.
No, no, he really didn't.
It
Like
wasn't a good
Pavia had
receiving
Heisman
team.
moments.
Yeah.
Rodriguez had Heisman moments. Love even had a huge run that was a Heisman like moment. We just didn't get that from Fernando. So maybe that's where just we didn't see the highlight reel because the highlight reel is just a really crisp 10-yard slant. Like a really efficient, great drop, great mechanics. So maybe we just have to think of it like that to be more okay with where we're at.
Yeah. It's just weird. just weird. I don't know if it's going to be something we continue
I
to
tell you
see
what,
moving forward.
if you didn't love
but
Mendoza as a Heisman
I
for
don't
his
know.
play on the field, you're really not going to like him for the way he does interviews, man. Oh, God.
Dude, thank you. This is 2 times in 2 weeks now. I don't know if I just was not paying attention enough to any media that this kid did. It is some of the cringiest shit I've heard from a player of his like caliber ever. This dude, I'm sorry, if he wasn't 6'5" and one of the best football players in the entire country, this like this is the type of kid that gets bullied in high school.
Still probably got bullied in high school. No,
You
you're
take
right.
out all the
You're
athletics.
not wrong.
Is that not true? This dude is the kid that wears a fucking turtleneck sweater to school. And then he's just constantly facing a fucking bully.
Clip it.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's probably sounds so bad. But it's like
He's a dork that can throw a football
kid that gets
65,
bullied
70
in all
yards.
the movies, Hollywood movies.
Here's my problem, and this is kind of where Skip Bayless did get it right in his tweet. I don't agree with Skip on a lot, but Skip said that was a very nice, memorized, scripted speech you gave. Whereas I think we're so used to guys being overcome with emotion and speaking from the heart in that moment. I get you don't want to leave anybody out, but that was almost like we were sitting in front of an HR meeting at the corporate office, the way he was going about that. And the emotion didn't feel sincere. Sincere. I mean, I'm guessing the kid was over the moon. Tears of joy. All of his hard work come to this moment. I love that for him. But like the getting choked up, and it just didn't feel. It felt very planned. Felt very scripted. And dude, he's got to be a tough hang, right? Like, you know those memes online where it's like,
wait, Herb. Sorry, before you go, I need your opinion.
See, I texted you about that, didn't I?
Are you not allowed to call your mom?
It threw me for a loop. It threw me for a loop, but I'm going to give him the cultural side of things.
Please.
I'm trying to make it better. It might be a cultural thing, but
stop, please. Do this. Herb, he is 22 years old. The only people that are still calling their mom mommy at 22 years old end up being serial murderers that have a... Dude, no, you can't. There's no way you can spin this to make it normal. I get she has her own battle, and they've been through a lot together.
Which would you prefer?
No, we're not doing that.
Whoa.
Mommy?
Let me ask you this.
Sucking on her tit?
What would have been worse? Mommy or mother? Like, oh, mother. Like, not like, oh, that's my mother, but presenting her as...
Is he gonna say that? You gonna say it exactly like that too while he's choked up?
It's kind of like the dudes that refer to the older guys. Mother. Mike Pence did this a lot. Mike Pence would refer to his wife as mother, like two people. Oh, when mother makes that meatloaf at home, I gotta get home. Did you just call your wife mother? Like that's that.
See, that's weird. And I don't think it's the same. But
mommy, when I heard it, my neck about broke.
In my opinion,
what did he just say?
That was the first time, unironically, I've heard just the word mommy in a long time. No, I never hear anybody say that anymore. That is not a child. Um, and then the fact that it
No, it
wasn't a
wasn't a
child,
child. It was your Heisman
just,
Trophy winner.
it just felt creepy. It felt creepy. Yeah. Also, did you see the video? That so he is sponsored
Indiana
or
is.
something with Adidas, I'm pretty sure, or Indiana might be or something, and he went to he went to the Adidas like store in New York, which I'm assuming is like one of their bigger locations or something, and they have a trophy of their founder, one of the German brothers, you know, um, like at the front of it. And I don't know whose like dumbass idea it was. They made him do a silent count on a trophy, and he like totally ate it up. He's like canning the play at the line of scrimmage, and then giving like a hard count on it. He's like, timeout, timeout. He didn't
I
fall
wonder if
for it.
these
Didn't fall
guys
for
know
it.
they can
And I'm
say
like,
no
dude,
to shit.
what?
Like,
Whose
yeah, I'm
idea
not
was this?
doing that one, guys. Why? Listen, he's such a good quarterback because he is. He is such a good quarterback. Why do you have to be like this, Mendoza? Because your brother's not. Like, I've watched interviews of your brother. Normal kid, normal dude, happy, come from a good home, normal dude. Fernando, I don't know what happened. Maybe he's too smart. You think he's like his brain is just so much smarter that he thinks like, oh, this is how a human acts. Could be.
You think it's the Cal connection?
Could be.
Make it a comparison to Jalen Brown type of thing? He's too smart to be an athlete. Okay, on the flip side, I just want to get out ahead of this one now. Whatever team ends up drafting him top 5 in next year's NFL draft, you're so fucked. You're so fucked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There is no
You
way
don't see
he
some
turns
Kirko in
out
him?
to be a good NFL quarterback. I just can't see. I can't see it. I can't. And at his best, what
Pretty
was Kirk
solid. I
Cousins?
mean, I'm
The
not number
10th
one
best
overall, but
quarterback,
that's a
12th best
pretty
quarterback in the league?
solid quarterback.
Yeah, and he was drafted in the 5th round. I'm saying you're drafting this dude in the top 5, most likely number 1. I don't want 10th best quarterback.
See, I'm not so
Best
much worried
quarterback.
about the play off
I'm
the
drafting you
field
to be the
as an
best.
NFL franchise going, okay, how do we make this guy the face of our franchise?
That's such a
if you're drafting him
doesn't
number
even
one, you
matter.
have to
If the
believe
dude
in
comes
the
in and he
on
sucks,
field ability. More so in what a lot of these teams look at, not saying it's the end all be all of their draft picks, but how do we make a guy like Fernando Mendoza, who we're going to invest a number 1 overall pick in and millions and millions of dollars in, how do we make him the face of the franchise? You could do that with other quarterbacks who had a personality. I don't know how you look at Fernando Mendoza. I mean, a very nice guy, I'm sure. Probably a splendid guy to. Yeah, how do you market
I
that?
mean, he has a
If the
personality.
Vegas Raiders take him at one, how does Las Vegas? I tell you what, you're not going to have to worry about him going down to the strip.
Dude, if the Jets end up drafting him first overall,
Yep.
which there's a possibility might happen, he will get eaten up and eaten alive by the New York media.
I suppose you know how you fix the New York media and keep them off
3
your back.
seasons.
You go win football games. It is
But
the
then it's the
goddamn
New York
Jets. You
Jets.
are right there.
They don't win football games. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, fun fact that I learned, though, from this weekend. I
I
didn't
did
know
see
that
that.
every
Yep.
Heisman finalist, they get, like, a watch. They get a unique
Did you see? Did
watch.
you see the tweet that somebody tweeted out with that
I
one?
thought that was
I
pretty
assume
cool.
you saw the photo of
I
the
never knew
watches.
that.
Somebody tweeted out over under 8.5 months before Diego
I
Pavia is
saw
just
the
in a
photo,
pawn
yeah.
shop in Vegas.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I'm sorry. That was the exact reason, like, why
I
Diego
can't argue
Pavia
against it.
didn't deserve to win the Heisman. Like, he tried making everything about him this weekend, and then to immediately post what he did on Instagram afterwards, where he's like, "Fuck the voters," and all this stuff, just seems so like just shows you the maturity or lack thereof, which is quite concerning when it's a sixth year quarterback who's 24 years old. Like, that's not a good sell for NFL teams if that's the next step, which you and I are split on. Um, but then to go clubbing afterwards, and he has um, those signs, with the bottle service girls, and just says "fuck Indiana" on it. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
you're just
I liked the
doing
talent
too
on the field.
much.
I liked the personality along the way. As of recent, and especially this week, it is clear and evident that Diego Pavia spent too much time around Johnny Manziel. Because we saw this type of activity out of Manziel, but the difference was Manziel was the best quarterback in football, and Manziel won the Heisman. Not saying that he earned the right to act that way, because he didn't, but at least a game backed it. Whereas Diego, you're not on Johnny's level, and I don't have a problem admitting that as a Diego fan. He's nowhere near what Johnny Manziel was. He wants to be what Johnny was. So yeah, these all of this is going to come up, and what he's not thinking about is the interviews at the combine he's going to have to do, because one of the first questions anybody's going to ask, what was that all about? Because again, we're potentially going to be putting millions of dollars into our draft picks here. We got to make sure it's a good investment. Right now, Diego Pavia is not coming across as a solid investment, in my opinion.
No. Um, we also need to talk about it.
You brought it up before, yeah.
The height differences on that stage, because Jeremiah Love is 6 foot. Fernando Mendoza is, I think, 6'4", 6'5". Diego Pavia is listed at 6 foot, and Julian Sand is 6'1" or something. And Diego Pavia, either Jeremiah Love is 6'3", and they're only saying he's 6 foot for whatever reason, or, which very well could be true because Jeremiah Love is a ginormous human being. Diego Pavia
When I saw the photo, my
barely be
immediate thought
inching
was,
past
he's
that.
5'9".
In all honesty,
Tough. So he'd make a great Canadian League football
yeah,
quarterback, might be true. And that image of those four dudes standing up there was wild.
yeah. Would you
Oh,
believe
Doug's a
me if I
shorter
told
one,
you
5'10",
how? If you had
5'11".
to guess,
No,
how
Doug
tall
was
do you think
probably
Doug Flutie was?
5'8", 5'9". Yeah, and
See, that's what I was thinking.
in a
Too.
helmet
They
and
said he's
cleats standing on
5'10".
concrete, he's 5'10".
I could have sworn he was shorter than that, though.
Yeah. I also don't think Kyler's as tall as
He was
Kyler
listed
claims to
as
be.
5'9" at Boston College.
Because he 5'10", 5'11", but I'm betting
No
he's closer to
shot.
5'9".
Right? They say he's 5'10". So I type into Google Kyler Murray height, and then it pops up 5'10", and then it also says people also ask, is Kyler Murray actually 5'8"?
Like, I was never worried about Russell Wilson's height, like, at all. I was concerned about Kyler Murray's height. I'm even more concerned about Diego Pavia's height.
Yeah. Yep.
He'll get drafted, but it won't go
I'm
well.
going to the NFL. Sorry, champ. Hate to break it to you.
That he'll get drafted?
You want to put money on it?
Can we get Ooh, that handcuffs me a little bit there.
Would you put money on it?
Give me a week. Let me think on that. Give me a week, and we'll revisit. Might be putting a crisp 20 on this.
Okay, Herb, I think that's all I got about the Heisman. I don't anything else sports related you want to touch on real quick, or you want to jump to shout outs?
No, I think we're good on shout outs.
Okay, you want to go first? Otherwise, I got a good one.
Let's hear yours. Mine's a damnation, not so much a shout out.
Okay, I am going to shout out the Texas A&M women's volleyball team who beat the previously undefeated #1 and undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers 3-2 to send the A's to the program's first Final Four in school history. And on top of that, the craziest part was the fourth set. They ended up winning 37-35. If you are unaware, matches or sets are usually played to 25. 37-35 was crazy.
Battling. Oh, shout out to the women's volleyball down at A&M. It's a pretty cool one. Tough for your Skurs though, huh?
Yeah, I don't follow the volleyball team as much as everybody else in Nebraska does, but still pretty crazy nonetheless.
They do have quite the following. All right, my shout out. My shout out is to the Des Moines city worker that tried to murder me this week. Okay, for those of you who don't know, in the great state of Iowa, we got a nice snowstorm on Saturday. Well, I had to venture to the gas station. There I am sitting downtown, minding my business at a red light. Nothing crazy. There's a plow coming the other way, and I'm going, oh, he's kind of moving fast. Why is his blade pointed in? And all of a sudden, whap. Brother, I thought my windshield was going to cave in by the amount of snow that this snowplow hit me with going about 40 miles an hour downtown. Saw my life flash before my eyes. I thought it was over for me. But shout out to that guy. I'm going to find out who you are. I'm going to find you, bud. We're going to have some words about that action.
You don't write a strongly worded email.
Oh, I'm sending the city. I'm sending them a notarized letter, all right? I'm not playing around with this.
Okay. Well, you have to keep me up to date on how that goes. Need to know the outcome.
Civil suit incoming. We're going to be live streaming from the courtroom, baby.
Okay. Well, folks, that wraps up another episode of Don't Quote Us Sports. As always, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow. And again, for Christmas, we are asking that you tell somebody you know to give us a listen. We're not asking a whole lot. Tell Grandpa at Christmas next week. Hey, why don't you listen to our friends, Isaiah and Herb, bullshit about sports. But that's all I got. We'll catch you on the next one.
Happy Hanukkah.
See ya.